You're listening to the Tom Green Podcast, and I gotta say, I'm having a great day. First of all, I just did MC Search's podcast, which was so cool. I got geared up for it, and I actually wrote a rap and a beat and got all prepared and ready for it, and then I threw down a freestyle rap with some lines that I combined in my mind. I make you hit rewind. What? And that was pretty cool and really cool. It's been so much fun doing this podcast because I'm getting to not only connect with my friends, but also meet new people like MC Search, who I grew up idolizing, listening to Third Base back in the early 90s when I was just a young kid in Canada trying to make it as a rapper from Ottawa. But another man from Ottawa will be joining us today, the one and only, the legendary John Dore. You may know him from the John Dore television show, but he started out at Algonquin College, where I did, studying television broadcasting, and he popped into my Instagram feed the other night and kind of cracked me up. We talk about that with the funny thing that he did on there. He was also one of the hosts of Canada's Canadian Idol, kind of like American Idol, but the Canadian version, and has done many comedy specials and all sorts of other incredible things. John Dore is a stand-up comedian. He's traveling around performing all over the country, all over the world, and you can see him when stand-up comedy starts again, hopefully in the fall. Hello, John Dore.
Hello. Is this Tom Green?
Yes, it's Tom. It's working. How are you, man? It's Tom. How are you? Thanks for calling, John.
My pleasure. Thanks for taking the time on this probably busy Saturday, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just busy staying in my house making hash browns. That's what I've been doing. Learning how to make hash browns from scratch, boiling potatoes over here in my quarantine. So, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from a place called Juneau, Alaska.
Oh, amazing. Okay, that's amazing. You're living up there now.
Correct.
Well, so thanks for calling in. Just so you know, I've already given you a really spectacular intro, so everybody knows, our relationship and how we started out on Rogers in Ottawa, and they're excited that you're here. But how's things been going on for you in Alaska during this pandemic? Do you have anything you could report on from up there for the rest of the people listening around the world?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's probably quite similar to what's going on in other places. So, yeah, let's get a few things out of the way. It's a similar hunker down sort of lockdown, I suppose. So essential services are open, grocery stores, that kind of thing. Everyone's encouraged to wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. So there's, the X's placed on the floor of businesses. Trying not to go out and trying to stay in. So Alaska is pretty similar, I'd imagine, considering the population. We're about 700,000 people here, and there's more and more people being diagnosed every day. Fewer fatalities, but considering the population, it's pretty much on par. It's probably the same as anywhere else. The difference would be because it's such a sparsely populated place. There's lots of places where you could hop in your car and drive and go on a hike out to the ocean and not come across a single person.
Oh, if you're
looking to get out,
that must be nice. Yeah. That must be very nice.
Yeah, I feel lucky in that sense. I feel like people are probably, just itching to get outside, but they might. I mean, you live in a place like Toronto or New York or even California. It's harder to get to these remote places, where in Alaska, it feels like you have the whole outdoor world to yourself. So it's just me and the bears.
Yeah. I remember I was in Anchorage once, and I was driving along some highway along like the Cook Inlet, I think it was, and there were these beluga whales just swimming along right beside the highway. Do you see that all the time? Bald eagles, beluga whales, moose everywhere? I've
seen my share of moose. And I've never seen a beluga whale, though. That's interesting.
It was they were right by the shore just swimming along. And I ran down and I tried to talk to them and they looked at me and stuff. It was amazing. They looked at me. So, well, yeah, I mean, first of all, can you even believe this is happening? Can you believe this? What's happening here?
No, I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth from, I'm trying to take this very seriously, as we should. But I keep flipping back and forth from, it's just too reminiscent of television shows I've watched as this thing slowly plays out and grocery stores run out of items and conspiracy theories start to circulate. I mean, it's so nonsensical. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised we're here. It makes sense that, this virus could infect, a highly contagious virus could infect the population. I'm not surprised at that. But I'm surprised at people's reaction to it. Like, to hunker down and really not come in contact with people is so important. But I feel like most of the world, I think that's what surprises me the most, is people are in denial and can't wait to get back to work. And as much as I want those things too, I think we need to treat this pretty seriously. So I think that's what surprises me most. And yeah, it feels weird day to day. I'm like, everything's going to be fine. And then you absorb some news and you realize, okay, I guess things aren't going to be fine for a little bit. Yeah, I'm perplexed, but I'm not scared or anything. I'm just worried that the economy and things like that won't get back on track. But the only way they get back on track is if you take it seriously.
And stand up, of course. You're normally on the road and performing all around the world, and now you're taking a break from that, like we all are. Is that kind of driving you nuts?
Yeah, I guess it reinforces what I truly love to do, and I think I needed that wake-up call. I miss traveling. I miss the staff in every town. I miss the audiences. I miss telling jokes. So yeah, whatever I can do to get this new world back on track, whatever that's going to look like. Yeah, count me in, because I want to get back out there. How about you, man? You must be missing it too. You've been on the road like crazy. I
am. I'm missing it, but I'm refocusing my energy on this podcast, and that's kind of kept me somewhat sane, I guess. You crack me up though, when you have those laughs where you really laugh hard and you don't, it's hard to make comedians laugh sometimes because we're always looking at things that are, funny. And sometimes it starts to become normal. But you caught me off guard the other night on my Instagram. I was on the Instagram stream the other night, and I saw you pop up on the Instagram stream, and you said your real father is Ron Cormack, which I believe it was, which of course was our college broadcasting teacher, which is was such a fun reference for me that nobody else understood. But of course, Ron Cormack would have understood it, but I don't know if he was on the feed that day. But we went to Algonquin College. We both studied television broadcasting at Algonquin College, and then I went and started my show on Rogers Community Cable 22 in Ottawa, and then you did a show on Rogers Community Cable 22 in Ottawa, and now here we are years later, and we're living in the United States of America, and we're traveling around doing stand-up comedy. We've got a similar life story, don't we?
We do indeed. I'm so fat. Well, you were an inspiration to many people. I think that television broadcasting program became a lot more popular as a result of what you were doing. For people who don't know, because I'm sure people obviously are aware that, your explosion into MTV and then movies, but your show started as this. I mean, you created something that I think every kid in Ottawa wanted to do. And probably inspired them. Like, that show was so popular in Ottawa alone. And to give people an idea, like, to do the show you did in Ottawa, we tried to get in multiple times when we were kids. We tried to go see the Tom.
Really?
Yes. But
just to come be in the audience?
Yes, but we're idiots. We show up late and high, and the show's either already started or the line's too big, and we bail. Oh, yeah, we tried that a couple of times.
Oh, man.
That was when you were taping. That was out on Saint Laurent Boulevard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because the show that I ended up hosting was on Richmond, out in Westboro.
I remember
your show was a phenomenon.
I just saw a clip of daytime. Your show, you were working at Rogers Cable doing the daytime shows. It was more of a serious morning show that you were bringing sort of some comedy into. But I remember we came in and... with Monica Lewinsky. Remember that?
Do I remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a few funny things about this. It was highly secretive, right? Like, no one was supposed to know Monica was coming in, and obviously to give people an idea of what was going on in the world, she had to sign, I guess, confidentiality agreements, etc. But you showed up that day with Monica, and we were in, I imagine, talking to Ray Scaff and Lynn Whitehead, and I arrived, and I remember you said, "Hi, John, this is Monica." as if there was no one in the world that wouldn't know who Monica Lewinsky was at that time. So I remember, you guys came by, and that was a phenomenal, you were selling handbags ultimately was the point of dragging the media through that, I
found a clip of that the other day. I'll send it to you, of you and me and Monica on daytime, and but it's a wild thing. You know, I've been going through a lot of the old Webovision clips. I was just looking at a clip of Norm Macdonald, other fellow Ottawa comedian, legendary, greatest of all time comedian, you must have loved Norm growing up.
Oh, of course, yeah. I love Norm more and more every day. Yeah,
isn't it amazing? We grew up in Ottawa, and I remember seeing people like Norm Macdonald, who came from Ottawa, and then just thinking, man, wouldn't that be cool to be able to do that? And now we're here traveling around the world and doing stand-up and doing it. Do you sometimes, do you feel grateful that it's all worked out, or are you ever feel surprised? I'm always surprised. I've been living in Los Angeles for 20 years, and I still drive around and I think, what the hell am I doing in friggin' Los Angeles, for crying out loud, eh? Oh yeah, bud, what's going on here, eh?
Hey there, bud. What the fuck? I traded in Marush for this. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. But you must feel grateful. I do too. Like when I'm in Los Angeles, just looking at a palm tree and consistently sunny weather, and having the windows down, it feels good. It really is. Like whatever I romanticized about Los Angeles is true. But of course, I feel grateful. Yeah, I mean, when I started doing comedy in Ottawa, I thought, well, this is for maybe 5 people who are really funny in the entire world. I didn't understand that anyone could become a stand-up if you put the hard work in, and you obviously have to be funny. But I feel absolutely grateful because I don't think I could do anything else.
Yeah.
I think this was the only thing I could do was, I couldn't do 9 to 5. I have very little patience for other things. So if you find what you love, I feel very lucky. So let's go back to Algonquin College for a quick moment.
Yeah,
I thought I could never study or go to school until I found television broadcasting, and every aspect of that program I totally fell in love with. So getting into television and stand up and combining comedy and the production of television. I would do anything to learn more. That's a message for all the kids out there.
Yeah. When you were at Algonquin, how long after Algonquin did you start your show? The John Dore show?
Well, so after Algonquin, I pitched a television show, much like, because again, you paved the way, right? So it was like, okay, Tom Green did his show in Ottawa. So I pitched a late night talk show concept for Ottawa, which I was naive, but, idealistic, and I thought this would work. So I cut together a demo tape from the shows I did at Algonquin, pitched it to Rogers, and they said no to that concept, but they said they're revamping their daytime show. So that was a year after graduating from Algonquin College that I auditioned for that show, and I did that for 3 years. Community cable access. For people who don't know what that show is, it's essentially Regis and Kelly without the audience or the budget. So people would come in every week talking about the Garlic Festival in Carp, and we'd raise awareness for that, eh?
But when did you jump to? It was the Comedy Network it went to next? When did that jump happen, where you made the amazing, hilarious John Dore show?
Too kind. Thank you. Well, so I'll be quick about this. So I did the Rogers show. This is also the importance of a demo tape. Cut together all the funny moments from the demo tape. Canadian Idol was hiring. So I sent my tape to Canadian Idol, and they thought, here's a funny kid from Ottawa who could travel the country and interview contestants. So I did that for 3 years.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't up my alley. The process of making that show was more fun than the actual end product. But I got to know the network. So Ed McDonald, who you probably know, former vice president over at CTV and Comedy Network.
Yeah.
I developed a relationship with him, and between myself, John Brunton, and the production company Insight, we pitched the John Dore television show. Yeah. And we made a pilot. So I guess it was about 6 years after leaving Algonquin, I got my show on the Comedy Network. But it was a series of steps. I had to do the basic cable show. Then I had to do a Canadian Idol show. And then I had to win over the hearts of the people that control the money over at CTV and Comedy Network. So about 6 years afterwards.
All of those sketches, do you call them sketches? I guess they're sketches, right? Or are they skits or bits or segments? I always called them segments on my show, but yours was more of a produced sort of scripted type show. Mine was more like run around with a piece of cheese on your face or something like that. But those sketches you did must have just gone viral on the internet and have this whole other life now. It must be a lot of fun, right?
Well, I think we're a little ahead of the internet, so I don't think it kind of caught fire the way it could have. But yeah, I mean, the fans who like that show are wonderful, and they come out and see me perform live stand-up, so I feel very lucky. But yeah, I think they're getting circulated a little bit. Much like you in this quarantine pandemic, I've been sifting through a lot of old things. So I've been posting a pilot from the John Dore television show on Instagram.
I saw that. I've been watching.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah,
well, it's never aired. It's never aired. So I thought I'd throw that together. And I have the final segment coming up, but I'm worried it might be too hot for Instagram, Tom. I don't know. Do I just post it anyway?
Wow, too hot for Instagram. You should post it. A little controversy is always good.
I like that.
What is there? Are you saying there's some nudity in it, or what is it that's too hot about this?
No, it's borderline nudity. So I got a full body wax.
Oh yes, toe. I think I saw this being.
Let's be honest.
I saw you teasing this. This a few days ago. And then, of course,
I've watched it.
You're into your exploits with your young friend Emma. Is it Emma?
That's right. It's Emma.
Yeah.
I love that you know that.
Yes, I love watching your exploits with Emma around the home in Alaska. Tell us a little about Emma, because I enjoy watching your relationship with Emma.
Well, so Christina is my girlfriend, and she has a daughter who's now 6. So I was introduced to Emma when she was 5 years old, and immediately when I moved to Alaska, I had all these responsibilities I never imagined I would, which is driving this kid to the park and picking her up from daycare. So I spent a lot of time, just me, the eternal bachelor, who's now thrust into this position called bonus parent. So I'm now co-parenting this kid. So yeah, it's just me and this kid spending all this time together, and the conversations are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I figured I might as well start rolling the camera. I cut them into little stories and I post them on Instagram. It's me and Emma.
It's very cute, but also hilarious. But also, she's a real a character herself, and she doesn't take shit from you, does she?
Never. Do you want to meet her real quick? Let's see.
Absolutely.
Emma.
Yeah.
Emma.
I'm a big fan.
Emma. Oh, no.
You have to go. Everybody listening, go to John Dore's Instagram and check out his ongoing relationship with Emma that's unfolding on live webogram.
Tom, now I'm worried. I don't know where this kid is.
Are you the only?
When you yell at kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only one home right now.
Oh boy.
Anyway, she's probably in the bath.
Probably fine, huh? Probably fine.
She'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, she's around somewhere. She's probably watching her phone.
Yeah, well, if you want to walk around and look for her while we talk, that's fine. Be cool to meet Emma. I really have been enjoying watching that. Is she aware that she's? I mean, she must be on Instagram. Is she aware that she's an online celebrity?
She's not totally aware of that. She is aware. I just found her, by the way. She's eating some blueberries in her room.
All right.
Emma, how are you doing? Can I put you on speakerphone? Actually, Emma, what are you doing right now? Oh, she's very shy right now. Okay, I'm going to let you be, okay? Emma, do you like it when we make videos together? You do? Okay. So she likes it when we make videos.
Yeah.
You know that my friend Tom right now I'm talking to has seen your videos, and he loves them?
Yep. Love them.
Did you know that Tom loves them? Okay, she's nodding her head, but I don't know if she's in the best mood right now.
All right,
we can let her eat her food.
Yeah, let her eat her blueberries. What now? You're in Alaska. That's amazing. I mean, you've always loved the wilderness. I know when you moved to Los Angeles, you were living out in the mountains somewhere as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was living up in Lake Arrowhead.
Yeah. So is it just? I mean, that must be kind of an incredible thing to be living in Alaska. Do you see lots of wildlife? Do you go fishing? Do you get out into the mountains? What's it like living in Alaska?
I'm a massive contradiction. I think I like privacy, but I don't necessarily need to fish. I don't like to hunt, and I do like the occasional hike. So yeah, it's not. Oh, look who's back, Emma. I was just talking to Tom Green about hiking in Alaska. Do we go hiking sometimes? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, say hi to Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Emma. I'm a big fan of your videos. I like your videos.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you sad?
I just like.
No, Tom's not sad.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Yeah, we'll talk about my sadness later. That's another call. But no, I do enjoy them. I like when you get mad at John, when you sort of yell at him a little bit. That's funny. Do more of that.
She's taking your advice literally right now. So Tom likes it when you get mad at me a little bit, and sometimes we get mad, but we're playful about it, right?
Yeah.
Did you like when I Did you like when I found your Halloween candy, or did that make you really mad?
That made me a little bit happy.
It made you happy, really? Okay, I'm gonna go get your candy again. I'm gonna steal it. Okay, I'm gonna go steal your candy. Okay, I gotta talk to Tom. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but nice talking to you.
Mom, Dad, if I talk to you, then I get my packages.
Okay, so Emma works on I will do something as long as there's a reward system. So my girlfriend Christine just said, if you go talk to John right now, then she can have her packages. Okay, well, I know why you were here. It wasn't out of the goodness of your heart. Get out of here. Go open your packages now. I'm talking to Tom. Get out. She's gone. Perfect. Sorry about that. Thought you'd be more entertaining. I'll work on it.
Yeah. Now, is it 24 hours of darkness right now, or is it daylight, or what's going on up there right now with that kind of stuff?
So Juneau is it's relatively south. So even in the dark depths of winter, Emma's back, into the dark depths of winter, like Juneau still gets relatively decent amount of sunlight, but no, now we've got nice long days. The sun goes down around 8:30, I think, and it's up by about 7. So yeah, we have a full regular day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Emma, what's up? You want to talk to Tom with me? Okay, well, go ahead. Say hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
There we go.
Hello there.
Four pictures of wheels. One with a construction, and one picture I saw with Stina.
This is the kind of nonsense I deal with every day. It makes no sense. She's talking about pictures on the wall. So
it's fun.
Yeah, I'm also trying to homeschool this kid, which is outside my wheelhouse. So
Wow.
every day we do alphabet and numbers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a job.
Yeah,
I got a job to do.
That's pretty cool. That sounds like a really nice, peaceful existence up there in Alaska right now. It's probably a great place to be during this friggin' pandemic that we're going through.
I disagree with you. Emma disagrees too. No, it's a lot of work, and I think like anyone, we're just like stuck in this house and trying to, my girlfriend works from home, and we're trying to homeschool a 6-year-old, and there's a lot of resistance there. Yes, I mean you, Emma. And getting work done while you're confined to a house is difficult. So, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. I have a orange Ross Dominic Steele cousin. My cousin's name. One of my cousins is 6 years old like me, and he's big as me. He used to be.
All right. So again, Emma's talking about her cousin Dominic, who's 6 years old and as big as she is. So if this is not the greatest podcast you've done so far, I
love it.
What is.
I love it. I mean, I really am a fan of the Emma videos. They're really fun. I like the music and everything that you put in. They're very cute. Well, that's so cool. So are you looking forward to getting back on the road and doing some more stand-up? How long do you think this thing's going to last? How's this going to affect us stand-up comedians? Let's just think selfishly for a second about ourselves. When are we going to get back on the road and start making people laugh again?
Well, here's what I know about myself is that I am not smart enough to predict what's going to happen. But yeah, what's my gut tell me? I don't know. How does this thing play out? I mean, if we don't stay home and try and flatten this curve, then the potential for more people to get sick and this thing to continue, it's potentially never ending until we just decide, okay, people are going to die. People are going to be infected. Let's just go live our lives again, which is what we don't want. But I can't imagine. I don't know what's going to happen. I think these clubs, some will probably go under. Some people's jobs will be gone. it could be a completely new start. I don't think it'll be a normal. It'll be, the new normal people talk about. I don't know. I'm getting bookings for things in the fall, which I'm not posting yet. But I really have no idea. I think the fall will be when people try and get things back on track, but I really have no clue. What do you think? Do you have plans? Do you have things booked? Are you ready to get on the road?
I do have. They seem to be rebooking shows. Like everyone, I was touring all through this time, and we've had to push everything back. And they're starting to reschedule things for September, so it's looking like September. But we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. I find it so interesting how when these things happen in our world, within days, everybody becomes so immediately acclimated to it. Like you just said, flatten the curve. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what John's talking about. We got to flatten the curve. Of course, we got to flatten the curve. We're socially isolating right now. We've got to flatten the curve. And there's all these little terms that come out, and everybody listens and gets them. Like when the election between Bush and Al Gore, the hanging Chad. Everyone knew what a hanging Chad was. A hanging Chad. Now we're flattening the curve. I mean, I'm sometimes surprised that people are actually paying close attention to this, though. I mean, people actually do seem to be socially isolating so they can flatten the curve. I think that's why they're projecting that maybe this won't last as long as it could have possibly, because I think far more people are socially isolating than they expected in America and Canada. But,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess language change. That's the interesting thing, how people do adapt to language, because it's the easiest thing to say, flatten the curve. I mean, that's a lot easier to say, we must stop this trend from growing upward flatten the curve makes sense. So we adopt it. Social distancing, that makes sense as well. And it sounds serious as well. It's not stay away from people. It's actually specific. So, yeah, I like the idea that we incorporate these new terms and we create a new way of speaking and talking. And then, of course, here's a question for you. So knowing that, when people go back to telling comedy, is everyone going to have a stand-up special about?
Yeah.
I mean, what do people talk about, really? Because for once, we are all united by one similar experience, regardless of any, race, religion. I mean, I'm assuming economics as well. But, I mean, everyone has this common thing where we're all leaping from. It's like everyone starts at year zero again. And it's like, let's start talking about it. It feels like we're resetting the world. It's a very strange thing to think about.
I really hope that comes to fruition, because I've been talking to a lot of artists and creators and comedians on the podcast and reading a lot about it. I just was speaking with Chris Angel about this, and Dane Cook and other people have been speaking about it. And a lot of people do really feel like there's this energy that's changing right now. Even on their social media, they're feeling this energy shift where people are being more positive. There's not as many trolls. There's not as many haters. People are kind of being a little more, showing a little more positivity. And then because we are all going through this thing together right now as a society, and maybe it is the first time in our lifetime, certainly where we've all gone through something together that makes us reflect about the natural world around us. So this is not terrorism. We went through 9/11, terrorism. We all came together and were afraid, and a war started, and everybody was focused on that. But this is the first time that something happened that was sort of a non-man-made threat that is affecting everyone indiscriminately, and all of a sudden, whether you're, like you said, whoever you are, in whatever part of the world, in whatever country, wherever you are, everybody's thinking about this, and maybe even thinking about, hey, maybe we need to look after our environment. Maybe we need to look after our healthcare system so that we all can survive. But, I've been reading that the Renaissance movement, one of the greatest, shift in thinking and literature and art happened after the Black Plague. And so I think that was a cause of it. A lot of people just sitting in their homes with nothing to do but write stories and make paintings and think about life. So hopefully there'll be some massive sea change that'll come out of this, and it could end up, once we get back on track economically, maybe be a positive thing. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to think about. And not only, just to add to what you were saying, not only are people at home creating and thinking and observing and painting, but also people are consuming art. They're reading literature. They're looking at art. They're watching television and film. So there's this massive, like, creative, people are being satisfied with other people's creative work already. So I think it also points to the importance of art in general. And when we do need it, So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I find I have a hard time. I hate to compare, this movement to another period in history, only because I think this is so different and unique. And we're dealing with, as much as people feel this positive vibe coming, I'm not ignorant to the fact that there are still conspiracy theories and people that are willing to be ignorant to something that is, like you said, indiscriminately killing people. So I wonder what's going to happen. I do look forward to a day where we can get back to people having nothing better to do than troll others, because that would suggest that there isn't a major, virus on the works.
Yeah.
So in the works. It's almost like if there are trolls in the world, it means society's doing pretty good. Yeah,
I feel that we're on the verge of I feel very fortunate. What do I want to say? Maybe I'll edit this part. But I feel somewhat amazed that there hasn't been, and maybe relieved that there hasn't been more civil unrest. And I know we're getting to that stage where people, are probably starting to become a little bit more desperate. We're a few weeks into this now, and I am concerned. There have been Black Hawk helicopters flying by in Los Angeles, and Ospreys, and military is around. But I feel somewhat relieved and proud of people in Canadian, American, world society for handling this with a sense of calm so far.
Yeah, I agree, because that was one of my not initial, because when did I start to actually feel that? I don't know when the initial was. Was it, the first diagnosed case in America? I don't know. But I was concerned as well, because I think over time, when people become more desperate and, suffer from cabin fever, I think there's a lot of, horrible stories we're going to hear about when, this lifts. But yeah, generally, I'm happy about that as well. I mean, I don't want to see a major military presence unless it's to truly help people. But yeah, you don't want to see a riot or anything else. But yeah, people are diversely different and interesting. So we'll see how people react to this in the next few weeks. Not to be a downer, but yeah, I'm happy right now, but we'll see what happens. But again, you know what? It's everyone experiencing this thing. So it's almost like if you're truly empathetic, you can say, oh, I'm feeling terrible, but I guess everyone's feeling terrible. And that's one of the first times I think anyone can really say that, Everyone's in the same boat in a pretty shitty situation.
Yeah, it's true. I'm even thinking from my perspective, sitting at home, doing this podcast every day. I'm by myself in my home, okay? That's pretty weird, actually. I was with my parents on a vacation, actually, when this thing kind of popped, and we all had to change our flights and jump on a plane. And I made this sort of decision at that moment to come back to my house in Los Angeles. I almost went to Canada and hunkered down with them. But I thought, I think I'm going to go back and start the podcast again. That'll be something to do. But and I'm having so much fun doing it. But I don't think I quite expected this to go on for 2, 3, 4 months, where I literally have not left my house in now probably going on 3 weeks. And it's weird, man. It's pretty weird.
Well, yeah, but you're really taking this seriously. Like, if you haven't even left your house, like, you need to run errands or to get groceries, right?
No, because I right before this all went down, I basically got a lot of rice and beans and supplies. I got some canned tuna. I got some food in my freezer. And then I discovered this app called Instacart. So they've delivered groceries to me. I believe they might have just gone on strike or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to look into that more, but I heard that they're hard to order from right now, but maybe they'll be back. But as of now, I haven't had to leave the house for 3 weeks, and I'm just kind of hunkered in here doing the podcast. I get up in the morning, I make coffee, and then I like I said, I've been making hash browns for the last 2 days. So I've got a big bag of potatoes, and I take the potatoes and I wash the potato, and then I slice it up into nice little slices, and then I boil it in water with salt for 5 minutes, and then I take that and I throw it in a frying pan with some olive oil and some butter, and then I slice up an onion. I got a bag of onions, and then I got some canned mushrooms. I throw that and mix it all up. And then I've got some frozen turkey spam that's in my freezer, and every once in a while I take some of that out and I take a slice of that off and I throw it in there with that, a little salt and pepper, and I'm doing it all on my Instagram, streaming a little cooking show up here. So it's been keeping me busy, but it is a little strange, so that's why when I'm on the internet sometimes streaming in the middle of the night and I see my friend John Dore come on and crack me up with a Ron Cormack Algonquin College reference, it really is kind of a nice thing.
Dude, well, a lot of things to pick apart there, but I think I'll leave it. Yeah, it was so great. I just happened to be outside taking a breather, and I noticed that you'd started a live video, and I'm like, oh, this is great. What timing is perfect. So I just hopped on, and it was nice to see your face, and you seem very calm, and it was nice to see the work you're doing and getting that clip of the Joe Rogan guest on your WebVision show was so great. Yeah. And how prophetic and interesting is that? But no, it's fun. It's fun to see, a friend from Ottawa giggle a little bit at an arcane, weird reference. So, yeah.
Right.
And anytime I can say Ron Cormack in a sentence, and someone gets it,
I love
pretty
it.
good. Like we're part of a cult.
Absolutely. Well, John, I wish you all the best here. I appreciate you calling in. I know you're busy up there homeschooling Emma and hunkering down in the pandemic, but I appreciate you calling. And of course, everybody, I'm going to let everybody listening know to go check out John Dore on Instagram and Twitter and all the places, and go see him when he is performing, hopefully in the fall, in your town in a comedy club or theater near you. Sounds good.
Tom, thanks so much, man. And great talking to you. And it's fun following your feed as well and seeing what's going on. So, you may be alone there, but you're reaching a lot of people. So, keep it up, man. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, John. Okay. Be safe. Be well. I'll see you soon. Okay.
All right, Tom. Take care, man.
All right. Ciao. Thanks, John. Bye. That was John Dore from Ottawa. And I'm from Ottawa. John's from Ottawa. And he is a hilarious man. And please go see him do stand-up comedy when he comes to your town. And follow him on Instagram. And follow me on Instagram. And subscribe to this podcast. And tell your friends to subscribe to this podcast. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I will be here tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. And like I said in the last episode, I am really getting these cameras set up. And if you're listening to this in the future, you may have become quite accustomed to me being on camera here in my little studio. But right now, at this time in our world, there are no cameras, but I'm looking at the cameras right now. I just need a HDMI cable or two. I need an SDI to HDMI converter or two. A few things like that. And we're going to fire up the studio and get back into the WebVision business very soon. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here and listening to me. The more you listen, the more I do this. Love you all. Be safe.